Something is happening here. Yeah, something is happening here.
North Korea, a nation trapped behind concrete walls, a land where even breathing is governed by rules.
Okay.
Millions of people who wake up to the same march every morning, greet
That's
each other
nice.
with the same slogan, and are forced to worship the same leader.
You
Being
can
born
imagine.
here means belonging first to the state, then to the leader.
Oh boy, think about this. Like, do you know what it means to be born to your mother? Yes. Then after being born by your mother, you're being owned by the state. Come on, like, watch this and see something. Like, this is scary here.
But now something is changing. The regime's memorized oaths of allegiance are becoming a noose around the necks of young people. Even military service, considered the most sacred duty, has become the greatest fear for thousands of young people today, driving them to seek the most desperate escape.
At first, when I hear people run away from North Korea, I was kind of like, okay, what could be happening here? What could be happening here? Is there something so bad happening here that we don't know? But going deep into history and looking at the trend of the way the people are being treated, they are being bound to run away. Like, you don't even, like, just watch what is happening here.
And this search for escape is being carried out by an underground, invisible, but highly organized industry. Although the system has no name, it has rules, actors, and a flow. Everything revolves around a single word: bribery. Despite the state's absolute control over the people, corruption has seeped into the deepest veins of the system. This web of corruption has infiltrated the channels that feed the army and has begun to rot military service, the regime's most important ideological vehicle, from within.
Okay, let's be truthful here. Like, despite all the torture and all the way people are being treated here and everything that happens, do you think you have the courage to escape something like this? Because it's kind of scary actually, because if you see the way the people have been treated, like they don't give access to so many things, but still they have the power to be corrupt and all this kind of stuff, you should know something terrific is happening here every single day. Like, just you don't even expect this. Like, watch this.
As young people approach the age of 17, they are subjected to what is essentially a life or death test. Their fate is no longer in the hands of the regime. It is shaped by how much money their families can find. 3 or 5 yuan earned over years on the black market, secret income from goods smuggled across the Chinese border, perhaps a few dollars sent secretly from South Korea. All of it is brought together for that one moment. Families sacrifice their homes, their animals, their jewelry, their pasts to try to save their children from military service.
Looking at this video, you can now understand why you just have to work hard here. Because if you don't work hard, just imagine at the age of 17 years old when you're growing up, you know now I'm going to maybe have a family or have other stuff to do, and now you're being subjugated to a death or life penalty. And again, the way your family is being recognized in the community is due to the fact, like, we are looking at how much can you contribute to the government? How much can you contribute to the government? Because all these things kind of impact the government in ways the government doesn't understand. Like, watch this and see something.
Because this war is no longer a war to protect the land. It has become a war to protect the future of a generation. The bribery mechanism has become a cog in the wheel that the regime turns a blind eye to but struggles to control. Officers on the draft commissions, doctors at regional hospitals, local party officials, all have become links in this invisible chain. Fake medical reports are no longer rare documents. They are traded like products with known prices in the market.
In an economy or town like this, you should expect this, because you will see now people just want to do fake reports so sure that they can work, or they are sick, or they are handicapped, so that you won't kind of subjugate them to do what they don't want to do, because they just have to bribe some people to get stuff like this. You understand? Because it's not being easy to be in conditions like this. You understand? So I don't blame the people at times when I see stuff like this. It's kind of baffling to me.
Diagnoses such as tuberculosis, liver failure, and chronic heart disease are produced with a doctor's stamp and a few $1,000s. These documents are finalized with the approval of another official on the Conscription Commission, and the young man is exempted from compulsory military service. However, not every family has the chance to participate in this lottery. Those without money try darker and more desperate paths. Some exploit loopholes in the system, malnourishing themselves for months, deliberately weakening their bodies, trying to fall below height weight limits. Others try to deliberately infect themselves by coming into contact with tuberculosis patients. But even that isn't enough. For those left most helpless, the options are more radical, inflicting permanent damage on their bodies. Arms
Whoa,
broken in
this is
staged
pretty
accidents,
scary. Yeah,
fingers
this is
cut off,
scary.
hands crushed. All of this is done to get a stamp of unsuitability on their military service file.
Just imagine
This is
you
not a
being
simple
in
escape from
conditions
the
like this.
regime. It is a silent battle to avoid sacrificing life itself to the regime's deadly routine. And this battle reverberates not only on the shoulders of young people, but on the entire.
I know, like just thinking about this, like people going for weeks or months without eating, so that they'll become dry in such a way when you look at them, say no, this one can partake in the military activities and stuff like that. You won't blame people like this. They just want to look for a way to survive. Because first, it's not easy for us to give birth, then give birth to somebody, then the person is being taken into the military zone and stuff like that. That doesn't make sense, yeah? It doesn't make sense, yeah? So I don't blame the people behaving like this.
Family. Many parents throw away their entire economic future to protect their children. Some take on lifelong debt, while others watch their children being sent to the army crying, knowing they have no chance. Yet once upon a time, joining the Korean People's Army was the very essence of pride for a North Korean youth. It was not just a patriotic duty, but the key to a better life. That uniform meant more food, privileged housing, membership in the Workers' Party, even political advancement. But now, in the eyes of a generation, that uniform is no longer a dream, but a.
Okay, let's take it upon ourselves. There was a time where we just loved serving the army because of the privileges we got from there. But seeing the way the economics and all the wars now happening around us, we now tend to be scared to send our children to join such regimes because one, when they are being turned into armies or they are being trained, they will now be sent to wars and stuff like that. You understand? So if you see people running away now from something that was once popular, then there's a question mark. You understand? There's a question mark. Like, watch this and see.
But a nightmare. Military service has become a symbol of misery and physical exhaustion. One of the most sacred institutions of Kim Jong-un's regime began to be quietly but deeply rejected by its own people. This spring, the North Korean Army's reserve forces were only able to fill 60% of their planned quotas. As a result, the Pyongyang regime sounded the alarm. Penalties for those evading military service and those who help them have been increased through regulations such as Article 41 of the Youth Education Guarantee Law. Penalties for doctors who prepare fake exemption certificates, military officials who take bribes, and parents trying to protect their children range from heavy prison sentences and forced labor camps to even the death penalty.
When you do this to a community that has already faced worse conditions than the penalties or the sanctions you're doing, the people are just going to go to more bribe because now the doctor is going to like if I took $1,000, I'm going to take $2,000 now. You understand? Because I'm putting myself at risk here. Or do you think this is going to stop? I know this is going to scare some people who are less privileged, but the people who are privileged are going to pay higher to keep their families safe. That's just it. That's just it. Like, watch this. It's getting more scarier than I thought.
The state is now trying to crush not only the young people, but the entire bribery network. However, as the pressure increases, the escape routes become more complicated. For young people who fail in their struggle to avoid military service, who cannot find the money for bribes, or who cannot overcome the system even at the cost of becoming disabled, there is only one option left: to flee. But this means escaping not just from military service, it means escaping from a country, a regime, even an identity. It means leaving behind an entire life, the land where you were born, and your family. It is a one-way journey with almost no possibility of return.
At times when I see things going on like this, I really shed tears in my heart. Because you see people running away from their families and everything, and even if you get to another country, what is the use of making work in the money and all that stuff? Okay? What is the use? Because you kind of make money now and all that stuff, and if you're even going to get alive successfully, you get, because this is getting out of hand. I believe things like this should be looked into. You understand? Okay, like, watch this.
And for North Koreans, this journey almost always begins with the risk of death. In recent years, approximately 34,000 North Koreans have managed to overcome this hopelessness and reach South Korea. This number is not just an immigration statistic. It is a painful confession of the collective exhaustion of a people, of how the regime's control over the people is cracking, of how the system cannot even keep its own children inside. But behind this figure of 34,000 lies a history filled with silent screams.
You now see in human situations where people see death and still choose to die. You now understand why before you become successful at anything, you need to give in your best shot of anything you do. You get? So there's just no way out of this if you don't kind of put the risks, if you have the money to pay for bribe to make documents and all those kind of stuff. You understand? But now we have to look into stuffs like this not to be happening. What is the best way to go into this? For people to choose the military, it should be willingly, not by force. Thank you. If you love content like this, subscribe to this channel so that you get more updates like this. Thank you.
The reasons for escape, its form, and even the profile of those fleeing have changed over time.